when you are in rapport at some level, psychologically or physiologically, you are matching the other person. It's when one person aligns themselves with another. Psychologically, you can be in rapport with another person by the way of matching beliefs or values. So a person's belief might be demonstrated insofar as them expressing a particular philosophy they have about leadership or about the vision of the company, the organisation. Where someone expresses their values, it could be in alignment with more than just corporate protocol. This is to do with conduct. It's to do with ethics. It could be to do with morality, for and against, because there are some people that have values that are just not ethical at all, but they will still justify them. So there has to be still a way, even when working with people who have different values and different beliefs, different philosophies to you, whereby you still need, just by the way of sustainment of business, need to be in rapport. Because if you're not in rapport, you get out of agreement. And if you're out of agreement, there's no business being transacted. Now that doesn't mean to say that you have to make this huge transition whereby you now have to sabotage your and violate your own values. That's not what I'm talking about, and not what I suggest at all. But there has to be a way, therefore, of not just respecting the other person's values, but looking for that kernel of truth that we mentioned yesterday. Yes, looking at some level. So if you could layer the values from general to specific, at some level through those values, you could potentially, could be in the apt word, reach some level of agreement whereby, okay, I recognise that at this level here, we do have agreement. That we agree that the company needs to move forward. I don't agree on this value here, which is your suggestion, your proposal number one, that we move the company forward by making some sacrifices, making some cuts, and letting go 2,000 people. That's what I don't agree with, because I value humanity. I value people's jobs. I believe there's always going to be a way, says you perhaps, that we can hold on to people. You don't believe that. You're thinking money first. That's where we clash. But here is where we match. Do you follow so far? Mm-hmm. All right. So when matching someone's beliefs and values, when you are able to do it, this is where you reach a road junction, where you now have to use your influence and persuasion skills to let the person know that I accept that this is one option. Remember the ways of being able to disagree agreeably, which we started off this morning with, didn't we, Dave? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, where you immediately you're thinking to yourself, there's no way that I could ever endorse this, and in fact, if you're going to let Dave and Luke and Anna go, then I'm going with them, because I've worked with these guys for 10 years, and if you regard us as being expendable or collateral damage, forget it, I've got no future in this company. This is where potentially you could clash. Nevertheless, rather than saying, stuff you, Mr. Big Cheese Director, I've got no interest in your vision for the future, if it means getting rid of 2,000 people, I'm just using this as an example. What you say instead is, I agree that this is one solution. Let's explore inclusive language, right? Let us together explore some other possible solutions before what? Before what?
Before any decision is
before the decision, before you make any decision, and certainly before taking any action. Decision always precedes action. Yes? So what you therefore do is look at some other levels by which you can find an agreement. Maybe that there's a level over here that you can agree on potentially, but it requires exploration. And there will be other potential stakeholders that you need to bring in, possibly, to get the approval there. And which means that there has to be questions that you use to get you to that place where the big cheeses or other stakeholders at an equal level are in agreement with you. This is where we use our leading questions. So what would you do? If you don't agree with that, but you let the person know, yes, this is a possibility. Yeah, it's a possibility, isn't it? It's one way of ensuring survival. We did the Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs a month ago. So we are going to survive. I recognise that that's a need for the company, right? Let's explore as many options as we can, another way of paraphrasing, before making that decision and letting all those people go. Would that be useful? Deliberate closed question, and they say,